Hi, good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining in for this week's weekly career class on time management. Today's speaker would be Dolveen Bhatti. Dolveen, thank you very much for taking out the time to do this again this week. Today's topic is, I think, something that is close to everyone's heart, whether you're a student or adults as well, including me. We all have issues with time management. And who better than Dolveen to take you through how to break those steps into far more simpler, digestible systems. I'm sure that with all of the extra time that all of you are getting with staying back at home, not having to travel, I think time management becomes even more important now because I feel there's so much of messaging coming in that, how are you using your time? And sometimes we are pressured to actually have very productive days. There are good days and bad. I do believe, having a structured system to your day makes a huge difference in that format. So once again, Dolveen, if you can hear me, I just lost your feed.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much again, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. For a moment, I had to go and look after the cat. That is why I went away for a second. Yes, okay, thank you so much for being here, everybody, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Just shows me the commitment that you have towards your time, and thank you for spending that time with me. So I promise to not make it a session where I tell you what to do with your time. That is not really why we are here. What I would want you to do, or what I would want myself to do, is maybe have you look at your time and the time that we all have in with a different perspective. That is always what I try to aim for. So let's just revisit before we start. Let's just take a minute over here and with a pen, make a note of everything that you did yesterday. Everything that you did yesterday, make a note. It doesn't have to be in sequence. So I'm going to give you about a minute. It doesn't have to be in sequence, though when in sequence, it is easier to remember. From the moment you woke up, what all did you do? What all activities did you indulge in? You don't have to write as to what amount of time you spent on that. That is not important. It is just the activities that you did. Just write them down. It doesn't matter whether yesterday was the first time you ever did that and you don't do it at all, and yesterday you did it. Just mention what all did you do yesterday. Big, small. It's an important list that we're going to make because we're going to keep referring to this list over and over again in our session. So it kind of makes sense to take about a minute and a half to do it. The moment you've done it, do give me a thumbs up or raise your hand to show me that you've done, or just unmute yourself and say that it's done. A list of all the things that you did yesterday. Okay, are we done? Are we done?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, so I've got, and I'm assuming Sumitra and Anushka have also done it as well. Moving forward. Now that you've done that, let's just think about, take a moment again. And now I definitely will need you to unmute yourself and let me know, because we're going to understand how we relate to time. So when I say go, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and close your eyes honestly, because I can't see you. So just close your eyes honestly when I say go. And I will ask you to open your eyes when it is 1 minute. Or in fact, why don't you open your eyes when you think 1 minute is up? Let's just see whether you and I measure time in the same way, without actually seeing it on the watch and that helping us, right? So are you ready to go? Your time. Okay, so now just shut your eyes and open them, or say yes, or give me a thumbs up the moment you think 1 minute is up in your mind without looking at a watch. Be honest over here. And your time starts now.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done too.
Okay.
It's done, ma'am.
Okay.
Done.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So interestingly, because I had my phone on and I was keeping the track, we had Thomas just about 1 second off, and Aditi was at about 50 seconds. Soumitra and Anushka were at about 1 minute, 8 seconds. How interesting it is. We say that we all have the time and we all have the same time, and how we understand it in our own minds in a way like this is a little different. So time is the same, yet it is so different for all of us. It is same because we all have the same 86400 seconds in a day. And that is all the time we have in a day. Everyone, each one of us across the world, across barriers of any sort, that's the amount of time that we have in a day. We cannot take up time from tomorrow. We definitely can't reuse time from yesterday. We have only what we have right now. We can't spend 1 second twice. That's the same for everybody. Yet, when Einstein mentioned his special theory of relativity regarding time, he says that the rate of speed of time depends upon your frame of reference. So how we see time is different for us also on different days, in different activities, in different moments of time. And how I see time is definitely different from how you would see time. And how I relate to it would be different from how you relate to it. And this is one poem that I've come across, and it kind of made sense to me always whenever I read it, that 1 year for a person who failed a course, a month for a mother who gave birth to a premature baby, 1 hour for friends who want to meet, a minute is so precious for that one person who missed his bus. Okay, in India, we will probably talk about a train or a plane, but yes, 1 minute when you've just missed something, 1 second when you've just escaped an accident. Wow. And 1/100th of a second is so important for that person who is an athlete and who missed a medal because of that 1/100th of a second. But if you and I were to talk about it, 1/100th of a second, really, are we really aware of that measurement of time also? So that is how we are so different in how we relate to time and how we might relate to it as individuals at different times. I'm sure there have been times when you have thought that time stood still, and that could happen because you were having such a good time, or that would happen because you were so bored. There are times when you think that the time seems to drag on forever, right? And sometimes we are doing things in which we don't even realize where the time has gone. And we've said this ourselves many times that, oh, I didn't realize that the time flew by so fast. Oh, I didn't realize it's time already to go. I was so engrossed in this. In fact, there's this whole concept of being in the flow when you kind of lose track of time because you're so engrossed in what you're doing that you forget the time to have a bath, the time to feel hungry, the time to do anything. Time just seems to vanish from your consciousness. So moving on, when we talk about time and we talk about time management sessions, and you are here and I am here taking this session, and iDream is here asking me to take this session, and awesome that we are all here. Why would we want to understand time? Why would we want to talk about time? It's because when we are in control, what are we basically in control is the time that we're spending on something. When we have our time in control, and we are controlling the activities that we are doing it, we are more in control. And being in control is a very sweet double-edged sword, or I could say that it's the bread that is covered with jam on both the sides. It's a win-win situation for a person like me, who's very keen on personal development of self and of youth who are generally with me. why being in control is a double-edged thing is because, firstly, it's a fantastic place to be because you are in control. You are on the driver's seat, which is something that we all want about our own lives, to be in control of what we're doing and what we are thinking and what is happening to us, basically. The flip side is that when we are in control, we are also responsible. So if I was to have no one tell me what to do in my time and I could do whatever I wanted to do with my time, then it is my responsibility how I spend it. And I can't blame anyone for when it might not work out in time. Best part about understanding time and our relation to it is that all areas of our lives get addressed. If we are conscious of our time, then we make sure that we are conscious of it being used and spent in time in areas that matter to us, whether it could be work or play. When I say work, I mean all things that you might be doing, which is considered work. It could be academics for you, it could be a job for you, it could be working at home for you, anything which requires to be work. And play is anything that you might do which requires is to be fun. Now, many people say our work and play overlap. Awesome. But you get the idea that all areas of your life get addressed when you are conscious of how you're spending your time. And when you're conscious and all areas are addressed, there will be no stress. Because of course you're in control, so you will plan it well. And there'll be no stress that, oh my God, I'm spending too much time here and that is being left out. So no stress. And you'll be fully present. Yes, because when you are certain that you have time to address every area of your life, then whatever area of your life you are addressing at the moment, you'll be fully present. You won't worry about the fact that, oh, I'm time to have fun. So let me have fun when I am doing or attending a session like this. Or text my friends, because you know what, after this, I will not get the time to do. Understood our relationship with time and we know how to deal with it. We get things done. Yes. And isn't that when did you lose me? When did I lose you?
About 5 seconds ago.
Okay, so not so bad. Just let me go and restart. And I'm so glad I'm seeing a few familiar faces. Hi, Sanvi. It's nice to see you again. Give me a moment. Right, I'm back. So I was saying that because when we're getting all things done in our life and they are being addressed and we have no stress and we are all in control, we are so much present, then are we not evolving? In fact, and a very interesting byproduct, a collateral of being in sync with time is that you're happy and you're at peace. In fact, here's a tip that you might want to go back to. Whenever you're feeling low, whenever you're feeling that unhappy feeling of it's just something's not right, just take a little time to focus on how you are spending your time and what are you spending your time on. It could very well mean that you have not planned or you're spending your time on something which is not in sync with your plans. There is lack of direction. When there's lack of direction, there is lack of moving forward. And when there's lack of moving forward, we don't have hope. And when we don't have hope, we honestly don't have anything. So whenever in a low mood, before you go and think about why am I in a low mood or what is, just think about what are you doing with your time? And believe me, you will find your answer there to quite an extent. Okay, so moving on. Waste of time. Now, time is an entity by itself. And the only thing that time actually does is to move on, no matter what. We cannot stop, reuse, fast forward time. And we definitely cannot waste time, because time is not something in my hand which I will waste. Time just moves on. But still, we've used this term so many times that I have wasted time, or this is a waste of time. Oh my God, I wish I hadn't wasted time. So what does waste of time actually mean? What does this whole concept mean? What does waste mean, in fact? Why don't you make a list right now? Take a moment. And I love having you to make lists, because I know that you will go back to them and see them. This is how I encourage you to think about a few things that I want happening. Write down a few things that you consider waste of time, that you do, not about anybody else. Just make a list, take about 30 seconds, make a list of things that you do, which you consider can be seen as waste of time. Yep, done. Now, what does it mean to waste anything? To waste anything, I think it means that to put it to a use which is not productive and which is not conscious. An unconscious and an unproductive utilization of anything can be called a waste. For example, when we have a hose or a pipe in the garden and it is watering the garden, that is a productive use of water. However, if we unconsciously left it on throughout the night, it might be productive, but it's unconscious, and we will wake up in the morning and say, oh, waste of water. Using a hose to wash a car, hose of water, using a hose to bring water to wash a car is productive because car is being washed, but because it is unconscious, as we are scrubbing the car or rubbing the soap on it, we really don't need that thing on, but it is on. Hence a waste of time as compared to maybe using a bucket of water to wash the car. Then we don't waste water. So anytime where we are doing something with anything which is not productive or unconscious is what I consider a waste, right? So I just said that we can't waste time. And I then asked you to write down things that you think are a waste of time. What if we call those things distractions and not a waste of time? Because every activity that we do, now hear me out on this one very carefully. Everything that we do has a reason for why we are doing it. And that reason is relevant for us at that point of time. It doesn't matter what others think. In fact, it doesn't matter what we think later on. But at that point of time, when we are doing something, it is relevant for a reason which is sensible, logical, beneficial for us. Now go back to all the activities that you wrote as a waste of time and see how are they impacting you. If you want to share in the chat an activity that you wrote and you can't see any benefit of it at all, let me know and I will show you the benefit. There can be no activity that you are consciously indulging in which does not serve a purpose for you. Accept it. Any activity which you thought you mentioned which does not have a benefit for you? I'm assuming that you could find out benefits. For example, if a waste of time is, say, watching TV, the benefit could be it's helping me relax. If it is a waste of time is talking to friends too much, the benefit could be it keeps me connected. It keeps me psychologically feeling secure in a group of people that I am. If the waste of time is, say, too much of research, okay? Sometimes too much of research can also be a waste of time. I am to be blamed of that once in a while, so I know that. But the reason could be, oh, I am preparing myself. I might be over preparing myself. That's a separate reason. But the point is, I am indulging in it because of that reason. I think I'm preparing myself for it. It could have a hidden meaning as well, that I am avoiding something that I really have to do. And research is easier and more fun for me. So hence I'm doing it. But that's a separate reason. Okay. So the surface reason, the good reason for me is that, oh, you know what? I'm indulging in this activity because. So here we are giving all our activities a reason, because that is why we're doing it. Because can you honestly think that anybody who is sitting here listening to me, so has enough brain, would be doing an activity for no reason at all? That's not possible, is it now? So why not reverse this order? Instead of doing an activity and then figuring out why we're doing it, why not try and figure out the reason, then do the activity? This keeps us more in control. And then nothing is a waste of time, because you have your reasons in place. And if you have your reasons in place, then all activities make sense. And if all activities make sense, then you're in control. You're doing exactly what you wanted to do because of a reason that is yours. And hence, you are in control. So what it is meaning is that we need to do two things. Firstly, we need to be aware of what we are doing. Secondly, we need to be aware why we are doing it. And from there onwards, we can move on to figuring out what is serving us and what is not serving us. But if we are not conscious, then it might be productive, but it would still be a waste. Like my research time might be productive, it's giving me a lot of stuff, but I am not consciously doing it in the sense that I am not consciously limiting myself as to how much it has to be done, in what direction it has to be done. Is it even relevant right now? Not very conscious on that. Hence, it might be seen as a waste of time. So far, are you with me? Okay, so now that we're talking about activities, any activity that we do, obviously will have a reason. We've said that already. Any activity that we do can be defined in the parameters of these two, urgency and importance. Any activity that you do. Whether it is urgent, that has to be done right now, or in a certain deadline and there is no way out of it. And whether it is important, activities that have to be done right now or in a certain parameter of time, which is kind of immediate, become urgent. Sometimes urgent can be today, sometimes urgent can be in an hour, sometimes urgent can be right now, but you get the idea, urgent. And important are those activities which make your life good. They are in sync with who you are, who you want to be, what you want to do, what is relevant for you, what is in sync with the plans that you might have. Okay, those are activities that are important. Now, if these are the two parameters that can be assigned to any activity that we do, every activity that we have can have these four. Or I should say that one of these go to any of the activities that you do. Urgent and important, not urgent and important, urgent and not important, and of course, not urgent, not important. And these are urgent and important for you, for nobody else. Because the reason you're doing it is yours, because you are doing it, right? Even if somebody else asked you to do it, you are still doing it, and that is your reason. It should be your reason. Otherwise, it's actually a waste of time if it's not your reason. So what are the activities that are urgent and important? These are deadlines that we need to keep. These are submissions that we might have. These are emergencies. These are crises. These are things that we have to drop everything and just attend to them. And if we don't, they could lead to some harm in some way. Urgent and important. And we all have these in our lives, in our day-to-day lives. Like urgent and important could be that I could be taking a session right now, but suddenly I see that my child falls. I will run there, because if I don't go and attend to that child and I'm alone at home, it's urgent and important, right? Similarly, what is urgent and important for you, you'll figure out. Not urgent, but important. These are fantastic activities. These are those activities which are not urgent. They don't have to be done right now, but they're very important. They're in sync with your goals. They're in sync with who you want to be, the kind of life you want to have. So, for example, if I was to talk about what's not urgent and important for me, I would put exercising on top. I would put time with family over here. I would put making healthy food over here. It's not urgent for me to exercise like right now. I can do it 2 hours later. I can do it next week, but it is important. This is a fantastic place to be. Then we come to the third, urgent and not important. Now, what are these activities? It's that phone call, that incessant ringing of a phone. It's urgent because it makes you feel that you have to pick it up, but it might not be important as compared to what you're doing right now. What else could be urgent and not important? Somebody else asking for your time. It is not important for you. It's urgent because there's that incessant tell me, but it's not important for you. You might be doing something else. Not urgent and not important. Well, why would we do these activities? But we still do sometimes. And these come in the category of things like incessant watching of TV. When I say TV, I am not specifying whether on TV you're watching YouTube, you're watching Netflix, you're watching news, you're watching very, very entertaining and informative documentaries. I'm not talking about that. I'm not categorizing it like that. That's your call, what you choose to watch on that screen. And that screen could be your laptop screen. It doesn't need to be a TV screen. It could be a tab that you're holding in your hand. It could be a phone. Using the word TV to kind of encompass all of that. Spending too much time on that, it's not urgent. You can do it later. It's not important. It's not in sync with what you want to be in life. What is important for you as far as your values and your goals are concerned. It's very important for us right now to understand these 4 categories. And for that, we can take help of our previous session that we took on goal setting that we had last Saturday. And in case you missed it, you could go and look it up on the YouTube channel of iDream. It's still there, as to how we set goals. In fact, I wonder if anybody over here can give me the full form of the SMART goal, this goal setting that we did. Anybody over here who would want to share that? I can give you a minute to write it down on chat if you don't want to come unmute yourself and come up. Would you want to do that? Okay, moving on then. We did the whole setting of SMART goals which were specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time-bound. So when we have what we call time management issues, or we consider ourselves not good at time management, or we are told, or we feel that I wish I had more time, I wish I could manage everything, and oh, I wish I could do it like X does, or oh, I wish I could do it like I used to do it a year ago, or that is what I aim to do, so I wish I can start today. Do understand that whenever you have too much of issues of time management, you are spending too much time in the 3rd and the 4th quadrant, in the activities of 3rd and the 4th quadrant. Now, before I go any further than this, go back to that list that you made in the beginning of this session and categorize those activities, write 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of those activities. Which activity did you do yesterday which was for you urgent and important? Which was not urgent and important? Which was urgent and not important? And which was not urgent and not important? Can you place these numbers in front of those activities for an idea for yourself as to where did your time go yesterday? How did you consume your time? Have a look at that. It's important that you write them down right now before I move on, because then the explanation becomes easier for you to understand. Any problems in that? Any problems in understanding that? Is there an activity which you cannot categorize in any of these four, or you're doubtful as to whether it should be in this or that? Do let me know. And do let me know when you've done it. Give me an indication, please, somebody, that you've done this and I can move forward.
I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am assuming that it's done by the others as well. Okay. So if you have, then the activities that you might have mentioned in the third and the fourth quadrant, or you might have labeled as those, are for you the reason why you might not, or you might be struggling with handling of time, with handling of everything that you want to do in the time that you have in the day, 24 hours. So the idea is not to tell you what is going wrong for you, it is for you to understand how it could be different for you. This quadrant, the quadrant number 1, are the symptoms. Anytime you have an emergency and crisis, unless it is that completely unexpected thing, like it could be an accident or a sudden where you've hurt yourself, apart from these, anytime you are doing something in a rush to finish it, that is suddenly very, very important and very, very urgent, like that last moment corrections on the paper, or working till late into the night, finishing your paper because, oh my God, it has to be submitted tomorrow. It is important. It is urgent. Studying for that test for the entire night because it's urgent and important. This is just a symptom of the fact that you're spending too much time on the 3 and the 4. And the cure of the fact lies in the second quadrant. All the activities that you've marked as 2 are the activities when done on a regular basis, not in the urgent times, will avoid you heading towards important becoming urgent. You definitely cannot, when you are ill, health is a very, very urgent thing that you need to have. But if you were already in the zone of exercising, when it was not urgent for you, but important, then it will never get into the place where you kind of have to do something in a rush and you kind of find yourself too out of breath to go up the stairs to attend to your friend or to somebody, and you just have to rush. So have a look at this and have a look at that list of yours a little more carefully again. Any questions so far? Okay, here is the time. Let's do a survey. Let's figure out. You need to answer yes and no to the survey that Thomas, will you be kind enough to share that survey with me? Thank you so much. You need to answer, and you can answer yes to any of them, as many as they are suited for you. And at your place, if you could give a rating for yourself, it would be interesting for you to know. how many participants do we have? We have 8. So about 5 people. I'll give you about 30 seconds more to complete this. Okay. Thank you so much for the honest answers. And now you know for yourselves where you are. Oh, I like to put off things that I'm not interested in doing right now. Gets 5 out of 5. Wow. And we have a 4 out of 5 for the right mood, right setting, and often lose time. Oh, that's a wrong spelling. So sorry over there. Deciding what to do. I settle for mediocre results and regret later when I postpone things. That means when I postpone things till the end, and then even if it is half done, half baked, I just submit it because finally it's not done. My work under pressure is self-explanatory. I often try to do things and I feel like I'm not doing justice to any. Okay. Thank you so much for your time on that one. So, how do I remove this from my screen? Yeah, okay, thank you. Now, why do we avoid time management? So if it is so important, we've seen the result that we all have issues with it in some way or other. There was no aspect of time management or the lack of it that wasn't addressed over here, being so honest about it. So if time management is so important and we've just seen all the immense
I think we lost connectivity to Dolveen again. I'll just get her back. Try again, Dolveen.
sorry on that one. Okay, let me just go instead. So we were on the poll, and I think that is and I'm so good. Why do we avoid? And in my research, as I was doing, I realized that there was no article I could find on why we avoid time management. Interestingly, there were all articles about how we can do it better. There were all articles about what mistakes we do. There's no reason as to why we're doing it. And I have always believed, and it's something that I keep saying in my sessions, and I would want people who are regular with me to understand this as well, and to think like this, that once we understand the why of it, we can figure out the how of it. Because the why has to be strong enough, right? So why we avoid time? Then I came across this fantastic word called procrastination, which means that doing something which is not at the right time, not in the right amount, not for the right reason. So it's like a distraction being stretched. Why would we procrastinate? Why would we do something which we are not meant to be doing at the time when we are not meant for it to be done? These are the reasons. Okay, what about them? How does this link to what we've just answered in the poll? Now, you know the answers that you've given, you know the yeses that you've mentioned. Let's take them one by one, and all of these are addressed. Tips on how to overcome those are there. What is relevant for you, please use. Are these tips that can be used in silos as to just take one and not take the other? Some yes, some no. Some are kind of intertwined, that you do one, the other kind of gets taken care of, or you do one and the other has to be done as well. So work it out for yourself as we go through all those points one by one. And I am certain that you will find tips on how you could overcome your own issues and your own challenges that we've just come across when we did the survey. So let's go take them one by one. Wait for the right mood, right time, right setting, right method. Now, we've done this. All of us have done this sometime or the other. Like when my mom used to ask me to exercise when I was much younger, and mama would say that, go out for a walk, go out for a jog. And I would say, I don't have the right shoes. I don't have the right t-shirt. Mama, I don't have the right sports gear. So a lot of times I wouldn't do something because the right thing wasn't there, or I didn't know exactly how to do it. So I have to make a presentation. I don't know the right method. I am not doing it just because whatever you know, just start with that. No. I have to have the right method for it. And everything should be perfect. This is what we call the perfectionist trap. We can figure out, we can fall into it very, very easily, that everything has to be perfect for us to start doing it. In fact, the point is, when you start doing it, things do get perfect. In fact, things don't have to get perfect. So if you are in this place where you can accuse yourself of, or you can hold yourself and look in the mirror and say, you know what, this kind of sometimes holds me back from doing the things that I need to do, that I keep waiting for the right mood to come, or the right setting, or the right time to start doing it. Maybe this will help. Set the stage. Don't wait for the mood to come. Understand in your moments, what would the perfect mood be, and set it up. In the sense that if studying on a table is perfect place for me to study, and on the table I want X, Y, Z things, I organize my environment in such a way that when that thing comes to my mind that, okay, I should go and study, I see everything set out for me. So set your environment in such a way. Procrastinate perfectionism. Now, this is where I ask you to stop waiting for it to be perfect. Sometimes we don't submit a certain work because we are so busy trying to perfect that front cover, or busy searching for the right font. I have done that. The exact font, the exact color, the exact size. And I would spend days making a presentation and slides because I was searching for that, till the time I realized that, oh, that's holding me back. It's making me waste my. I revisit procrastination, perfection. I do it, and I tell myself I'll come back to perfect it. But right now I need to finish it. And 80 is a new 100 is where it is good enough. Is good enough to move forward. Because you are an evolving being. So whatever idea or creation or essay or article or anything that you've made today, right now, if you keep waiting for it to become perfect, it will not, because no matter how good it is today, 4 days, 1 later, 10 days later, you have evolved that much, because if you are a thinking being, you will have a brighter idea, a more creative thought, because you've evolved that much. Right now, with the resources that you have right now, get it out. That is what you do. Look at it and say that not interested in the use, I like doing it. Well, these are that, oh, not interested, no use, don't feel like doing it, so do it, where we are not certain as to where we are heading. This is the things that avoid us or keep us approaching things that are scary for us, that cause us fear, that may cause our anxiety, and we avoid them by answering these questions and thinking that they're not money. What could you do upon you clarified your goals? How does that help? You do don't particularly find interesting right now to reach to the, and it's very, very interesting for you, and you want to take it in college, or maybe take it up in class 11 and 12 as a thing that you find interesting, but there's one which is not interesting for you. Well, you need to study that as well for X stage for you to get into that stream. That is a pointer or a heads up that in life we will always have things of doing. Right? You might really like meeting with your friends and talking to them. But you are not really interested in snacks when sit and get through. Is it that is holding you back doing what you have? And then if it is too big a thing, break it down into smaller points. Understand what about it is scaring you. And what is one step that you can take today? And if ask for help. If there's a topic that you really don't find interesting, but you really have to study it, but a friend of yours has done it, ask him or her that you're just unable to wrap my head around it together. You don't like to sort out your Almira. Okay. Take help. Ask mom. And always ask for help, because that might have a way of doing the boring thing, or just doing it with somebody else. It might be easier to do. And sometimes taking help for some people could mean out. And that's what we do. So think it through, what is about helping you get into it. And when you clarify your goals, you know exams down to that. Why are you doing it? Settle for mediocre work, knowing that you could have done better. This is what we do when we keep it till the last moment, and we are have I lost?
Hi, Dolveen. I just put the video on chat because the connectivity was a little poor.
We keep it till the last. Okay, I have.
Yeah. So for now, I just kept the video on close because I think the connectivity was going off. So we can hear you loud and clear. If the video is off till the connectivity issue is solved, then we can still hear you clearly.
Okay, and I am just trying to figure out where is my, can you see the PPT but?
I can.
You can, and I can't. So I'm just trying to figure out why can't I see the PPT? That's my whole thing. Just a second.
You've got to go back to your PPT.
Yeah. Okay. So now you can see me, but I can't see you, right?
I can't see your video. I can only see your screen. I can hear you out.
Okay, fine. So do let me know in case I go off again. My God. So yes, um, this is when you settle for less, but deep down you know that you could have done better, but you haven't done better because you've not given yourself the chance. If this was an issue with you, or it can be in some areas or in some aspects or in some tasks, then it could be also that there's a lack of belief in yourself that you can do it. And this is a very vicious cycle. You doubt whether you can do it, then you don't do it, then you never know that whether you can do it or not, then you do it in a half-hearted or a shoddy or a half-baked manner, or in a manner in which you're not happy, and you keep feeling that, but I'm sure I can do it better. But then, you know what, I can't do it better because I don't know if I can, and I'd rather not face the fear of failure, then I'd rather just do it in the way I can, which is, so it's a very vicious cycle. What you could do, if this is an aspect or a thing for you in days or in some tasks, believe that you can. As simple as that. Give yourself the chance of doing it in a different way, of doing it at a time which is slightly earlier. And interestingly, things that we find ourselves mediocre in or not very good in, or when we give up shoddy work, is things that we kind of leave up to the last moment. So maybe address or approach a thing feeling that you can, and just do one step of it. When you do just one step of it, we are, Thomas, are you there? Sherry, it is bad internet. Hello? Are you there? Thomas?
Ma'am, I think sir got disconnected.
Sir got disconnected, but okay, you are still there.
Yes, ma'am. Very well, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for pitching in and letting me know. So I will continue. Yep. So that we are on time and we don't miss out on time. When I say believe in yourself, in the sense that at least start with a small step towards that direction of this thing that you know you can do better. Because honestly, if you could not do it better, you would not have this feeling. So even if you take one small step, that builds up your confidence that, okay, I can do it. And when that builds up the inspiration of you doing it again. So, and I love the ABC of doing things, that is, action builds confidence. So often we keep waiting for confidence to come to do something. It's the other way around. Do it and the confidence follows. And then the confidence keeps adding up as long as you keep taking those small actions. So if you take up nothing from here today, just take up the ABC of doing things. Actions build confidence. It's not the other way around. Work better under pressure. There are people who say that all the time, and they say that this is easier for us, that when it's under pressure, now I can come up with fantastic ideas. It is something that people might start to relate with, that, oh, that's the way I am, that's the way I work. But then we all know that when we're under pressure, it does increase our stress. And as we grow older and we have more things to do and we have far more important things to do, then stress is not a very good companion to have. And it does lead to a lot of unnecessary and unwanted side effects. So if urgency is what you, then pull your mind into being into the urgency, to understand the urgency. Like if it is, so what I do is, if I have a presentation on Saturday, I commit to my brain that we need to prepare and finish this by Thursday. So the urgency of starting off from work, I don't have till Saturday, I have 4 days. And on whether I do it on Thursday only completely, but Thursday end of day is my deadline. So that's me fooling my brain. In fact, your parents have done this to you, believe me, so many times, when they had to leave at, say, 4 o'clock and they told you that we have to leave at 3:30, because they kind of knew that if you knew 4, you would delay it, and you were already by 3:35 and you were all on time. Pomodoro technique is a very interesting technique. You can read about it in the net also in more detail, where there is this device which is in the shape of a tomato, and hence that name. This tomato is a timer which goes off after 25 minutes, and you can adjust that timer to it, which was basically used in the kitchen to help people make food before the ovens had automatic timers in them. And you set it up and you make yourself, or you complete, or you do, or you attend a task for those 25 minutes. You take a 5-minute break, then you go back to your 25-minute task. I also call it the time-bound technique. In this, your best friend, in fact, if you are concerned about time, your best friend is a gadget called alarm clock, or the alarm feature in your phone. I am not very keen on people using the phone, because phone itself comes in the category of a distraction often, though it has other purposes as well. So keep an alarm clock with you. Whether you set it for a 25-minute time or a 20-minute time, that's your call. For things that I really enjoy doing, I set out a longer time duration. I don't mind doing that for 20 or 25 or 30 minutes. Things that I don't really enjoy doing, I set shorter time durations. It's easier for me to get started in that way. See what works for you, experiment with this, and then get back to me. Too many things to do and focus defocused. Oh my God. And when I say these are too many things to do, there might be too many things in the same sphere, or it might be too many things in a variety of places. You want to meet your friends, you want to pursue a hobby, you want to do your academics, you want to read books, you want to research for a paper that you have to write, you want to spend time with your parents, you want to follow up with your Netflix series, you definitely want to keep in touch with the social media to see what's happening around you. Oh my God, too much things to do. In this case, if that be the case, make your distractions difficult. When focus is an issue, reduce or minimize what can distract you. Automatically, focus will increase. Now, if I am working, the phone is a distraction for me, which is a distraction for many people. So I put my phone in the other room. Sometimes I switch off my phone, because I have realized that even putting it on silent does not work if the phone is right next to me. That's the way I work. How does it work for you? What are the distractions that you can make them difficult? And then the other part is design your environment. Okay? Waking up in the morning and going for a run, or going for cycling, or going to the gym, for example, is a thing. So how would I design my environment is that once I've woken up, the shoes, the equipment, the cycle, the water bottles are all there. It makes it easier for me to get going with that thing. I'm not spending time now picking up those things and then feeling disheartened and giving myself and my brain the chance to get distracted. Thought notes are very interesting, because normally we use thought notes when we are working, but a lot of times you would have also realized that when you are at play, when I say play, I mean things that you enjoy doing. It could be with friends, or watching things that you find interesting. When you're at play, you might get a thought about an idea of an article you could write, or an idea for the essay that you are thinking about, or the answer to a certain question that you were kind of going through in your mind. Make a note of it right there. Don't interrupt your play to go to work, just like the way you wouldn't want to interrupt your work to go to play. Right? So be honest with yourself and keep your commitment to even your playtime, so that your brain knows that I have time, this is the playtime, and if I've kept my commitment to the playtime, I can and I will keep my commitment for the work time. So thought notes work everywhere. They work in your fun times. Write it down and keep it aside, go back to it later. Keep it aside and focus on the thing that you're doing right now. and go back to it later when it is time to focus on that thought that came to your mind. We are moving decisions. Do you know there's a thing called decision fatigue? And decision fatigue corrodes willpower. In fact, there's a whole concept where they say 100% is better than 98%. Why? Because if you commit to something 100%, you've taken away the requirement for a decision again. Michael Jordan says that when I decide, I never revisit that decision again. Because whenever we are deciding, it is mentally taxing because we are going through that internal dialogue, pros and cons, and I want to do this, and a part of you want to do that and this. It's like, it's tiring. So reduce the number of decisions that you take. Prioritize. Make a to-do list. So you do have a list of things that you want to do because you have your goals set and you know what the goals mean and you know what you need to do to get to the goals. So it is perfect to have a to-do priority list every day. And they say that if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have a priority at all. So make a priority list, and the first 3 things, do them. Declutter to simplify. Now, when I say declutter, I mean declutter everything. Declutter your study table, your room, your wardrobe. You think it was just by chance that Steve Jobs just wore the same dress every time? No, he didn't have the brain and the time or the space to think about what should I wear now. It didn't matter because he had far more important things to do and to think about. So he wore that. I'm not saying restrict your wardrobe to just one thing, but what is not serving you, remove it from your table, your wardrobe, your life. And if this was a conversation for some other time, and if we had more time, or I would say that remove friends or people we call friends who are not serving you. When I say serving, they're not really taking you, guiding you, motivating you, supporting you, encouraging you, being by your side as you travel towards that are important for you, which are priorities for you. Simplify. Give your mind the space and the to do things that really matter to you, whether they are work or play. Oh, this is too challenging. Oh, I don't think I can do this. I'm not good enough to do this. I can't even try. This is, when you're feeling this, it means that you're trying to attempt something which is outside your comfort zone. And whenever we are trying to build muscles of stepping outside our comfort zone, it is a regular process. So take a small step out. For example, you want to, say, participate in the MUN, for example, and you are not much of a person who speaks up, or you're hesitant of speaking up, and you're like, that's too challenging for me. Then maybe you don't want to go and start off at the model at the MUN. Maybe you can start speaking up in the class. Maybe don't show your face on the video if that is allowed. Maybe just type in a question. Maybe just speak up in a smaller audience. Keep building the mental muscle for crossing your own boundaries that you have put on your own self. Otherwise, staying in the comfort zone, doing the things that you're doing right now is very, very easy. And then you're just doing things that you do and you're not evolving. And like they say, everything that you really want is just outside your comfort zone. So next time you're trying to figure out that, what do I do? Ask yourself these questions. Or next time you're trying to figure out, oh my God, this is too much for me. Can I do it? Oh my God, really? Just sit down and ask yourself, what would be the benefits of doing that thing that you think is too challenging for you? What would be the benefits? What would success of doing that look like for you? How would your life change? How would your day change? How would you change? How would you feel about yourself when you've done it? then very importantly, what is the cost of not doing it? Honestly, if there's no cost of not doing it, you will not do it. You will not challenge yourself. You will not step outside it. But if you're paying a price for not doing it, then you will challenge yourself and take the effort of stepping out of the comfort zone. And if all of these three answers are, all of these three questions are answered, then we can get down to how can I make it easier? Take it in a bite-sized form. Running is a challenge for you. Go out for a walk. Run for 2 minutes in the beginning. Believe me, even 2 minutes running in the beginning is a lot. But then that feeds your confidence. That feeds you. That feeds your inspiration, which helps you to do it more. It gives you evidence that you can, that it is challenging, but you know what? You can do it bit by bit. So with that, I come to the end of this session, and I really don't know who's online right now, but I end it with this quote that there is so much universe and there's so little time. We don't have time to make time pass by being unproductive or unconscious. See what works for you and make time work for you. If you try out any of these techniques and you feel that you've kind of getting stuck in any, please do feel free to reach out to me, connect with me, and a promise that I and iDream Career make is that all queries are important and all queries are answered. So reach out to me at my email on dolveen@gmail.com, or check out or reach out to me on Instagram, totally your call. And with that, I come to an end of this. If there are any questions, please do let me know. Any questions?
Sure, Dolveen. I can't see any on chat right now. If someone has a question, they can definitely unmute themselves and ask. And meanwhile, let me just check on our other channels as well if there are any other queries that have come in.
Yep. If there's anything that anybody would want to share, this would be a nice time for that.
Dolveen, you can keep your camera on now. I think now that you're not screen sharing, that should not
Okay.
affect your audio.
Okay. I'm so sorry for that. It's sometimes just very, very unpredictable.